Latest football news, engaging debates,
and fascinating opinions.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Hello and welcome to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio. It's Fridays at 5 p.m. with me, George, and Dan, as always, who's back after another week. You've actually had a good week for once, Dan. I think we can semi-say for once.
Well, Ipswich won, but I think as we'll get into in a minute, I'm still not happy.
You're not happy? It should be happy days, shouldn't it, really?
It should, but we'll get into it in a minute.
Yes, we'll get into it in a minute. Well, what have we actually got coming on today's show? But before we actually get there, Ben mentioned our social medias, Twitter at Pitchside Talk, Instagram Talk_Pitch, YouTube and Mixcloud, both at Pitchside Talk. So we've got coming on today's show. We're talking about Ipswich Town. We had 2 games in the space of 4 days against Portsmouth and Birmingham. Both of them actually at home and in front of supporters. 2,000 lucky fans went to watch that game. We had the Premier League. We've had quite a busy week in the Premier League. We've had first v second, and we've had our first sacking of the season. Yes, that is correct. We've had the first sacking of the season. And we're talking about Arsenal. We're talking about a club for once. I don't know the last time we actually talked about a club specifically. Maybe Leeds when they won promotion. I think that's the only one I can think of down here.
Yeah, well, we've been going week after week of Premier League and Champions League, haven't we? Because that's all that's really happened for the last month or so. But yeah. Finally a club.
Finally a club. That should be quite interesting to talk about because Arsenal at the moment are not doing too great themselves. But when we come back, we're going to be talking about Ipswich Town, about the Portsmouth game and the Burton Albion game at home in front of supporters. What can go wrong?
Stay up to date with the latest footy news.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Hello and welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio. It's Fridays at 5 p.m. with me, George, and Dan as always. And Dan, this is the last show that's going to be on IO because it's apparently Christmas, which it doesn't really feel very Christmassy at the moment, does it?
No, it doesn't. Obviously, we're all at home still, so it's a bit. It doesn't feel very festive at the moment.
No, it doesn't. But we have got a festive time in football coming up. You know, we've got the Christmas fixtures, which is always fun because we have games coming left, right, and centre, and we just don't know where to turn next, really, and clubs as well. But we better move on into the show and talk about now Ipswich Town. And this week we had 2 Ipswich games in the space of 4 days, both of them at home in front of 2,000 supporters. Good for them. I'm happy to see sports back at Portman Road. Some life, Dan. Finally.
Yes, finally.
It's mad. It's crazy to have sports back. But starting off with Saturday's game, and Ipswich, they were up against the promotion rivals in Portsmouth, and they lost again to them 2-0. It's seen Ipswich slip down from third to 6th. Leading fans to boo at full-time whistle after another poor performance. Dan, I don't really know what to say, but I'm just going to say this to you. Thoughts?
We're just predictable, aren't we? We're so predictable. You know, it's another game against a team that are around us in the league table in the top 6, and we just show nothing once again. They score 2 pretty easy goals. The first one, maybe they did pretty well to pass it around, but we didn't really lay a glove on them. But again, we're so predictable when teams know how to play against us, and it's simple. You know, we pass it around the back. I say it every single week. That is not what makes a good performance. Just passing it around, not doing anything with it. I think it comes to the formation. You know, we keep saying that 2 up front is what is needed, and I think that was shown on Saturday. We weren't playing 2 up front, and we showed nothing attacking wise. I mean, we were 2-0 down at half time, and that was it. Pretty much game over by 45 minutes. So yeah, depressing performance once again, and I just couldn't find any positives for that game at all.
Yeah, it was quite hard. When I'm going to actually comment here. When I actually watched the highlights, I thought I was watching Portsmouth I Follow, perfectly honest. That's how bad it was. It was a bit like that. But we better move away from that. And we have a game in the midweek to sort of forget about that one, reset, let's go again, as Paul Lambert would probably say, reset and all this stuff he always says. And it's just played again in front of another 2,000 supporters. And they ended their poor home form with a victory against rock bottom Burton Albion, just edging them out thanks to Emmy Hughes' winner. We're going to call it a winner. It was a bit scruffy. And Keenan Bennett's early goal, leaving Ipswich 2 points off top spot in joint second place with Portsmouth, Peterborough and Lincoln. So, Dan, I know we've sort of had negative performances, but it must be happy days. You're joint second in the league. You're fifth technically, but you're joint second. 2 points off top spot. Happy days, eh?
No, it's not happy days, I'm afraid. I think, yeah, we're 2 points off the top. I think that just shows how awful this league is because we are awful and somehow we're 2 points off the top. It's a win, yeah, but we were dreadful. We really were dreadful. I think the first 5 minutes we were much better than we've been in the last few games. I thought we were, a bit more attacking than we were, and then we scored that early goal, and I thought, here we go. This might be the turning point. We might actually show, maybe what we can do going forward. But I do not understand Paul Lambert. You can play two up front. You put on two strikers. You're playing Hawkins and Jackson, but you still play a 4-4-3-3 or a 4-5-1 as it is. But you still play a 4-3-3 with Hawkins and Jackson on the pitch. Jackson out on the right wing is completely lost. He's completely lost. He didn't do anything in the first half really. He did get an assist for the goal, but he's so lost on that right hand side. And Lambert said that he did pretty well on the right, which I'm a bit worried about because that probably means that he's going to play him there every week. I thought Hawkins was okay, but after the goal, it was just dull once again. We didn't do anything in the final third. Every single week I say the same thing. No attacking threat again. This is bottom of the league, Burton. It's bottom of the league, Burton, and we struggled. I know we are League One level now, but we should be beating these teams. If we, won, at the start of the season, we were told promotion is our aim, and I'm guessing it still is. I'm hoping it still is. But we need to be playing better than that. I know we won the game, and this sounds really bad, doesn't it? Because we won the game, I should be happy, but the performance just frustrated me so much. Hughes got the winner. I think that's the least I've celebrated an Ipswich goal ever. You might call me miserable, but it was a miserable performance. And I think the thing that makes me miserable is we've got Peterborough on Saturday, and we know once again that it's going to be a predictable performance, and I'll be saying the exact same things next week in the show. So I think that's why I'm a bit annoyed by the performance. We won the game, and I'm happy we got 3 points. That's the main thing, but the performance was dreadful once again.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. Ipswich can have really poor performances but still get the wins. But if you're an outsider and you're looking to see this, you kind of go, well, there's nothing wrong. That's the thing here. We're talking. It's if you're an outsider, you look at it, you go, well, it's happy days. Ipswich Town, they're fifth. They're only 2 points off top. But if you look inside, and that performance, it wasn't great. And I think at one point the fans were getting a bit. I think we're sort of seeing the fans were getting anxious here. This is a moment of, are we actually going to be having this moment? And if Ipswich got serious ambitions, they've got to be beating these sides comfortably.
Yeah, we have. From the outside, it looks fine. 2 points off the top. I've seen people on Twitter saying that we're the most miserable fan base. We're not happy with being 2 points off the top. And obviously there's some Ipswich fans I've seen saying, what are we moaning for? But it's just the way we're playing at the moment. We're promised things. Marcus Evans came out and said, you can't really see how well we're performing on iFollow, which he obviously knows nothing about football if that's the case. And these green shoots, as he keeps saying. I mean, people who have been to the game have said it's exactly the same as watching the iFollow games. There's just nothing. So we haven't seen that yet. I think it's just the performances that worry us, and the fact that are still carrying on with the same things we did last year. It's just a repeat of last season. And I still cannot believe we're 2 points off the top. We beat Burton. It's great to win against Burton, and teams around us lost. This league is mad. You know, Hull lost to, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Blackpool, wasn't it? And somehow Peterborough drew to Wimbledon, who we play on Saturday. So we got lucky again. And if we play like that for the rest of the season, we're not going up. And I think Lambert's comments as well, they just make the fans angry as well. But I think it's just, if you're a supporter of the club and you love the club, you know what state it's in at the moment. But if you're outside of it, you don't really know. It was the same with McCarthy. Obviously, we wanted McCarthy to go, and fans outside the club thought that was ridiculous. And I think that's the same. Again, people don't really know the full story looking in from the outside. And we know what a mess this club is in. And we know how distant the fans are from the owner and the club. So it's not looking good for us. And it'll be a miracle if you can stay where we are. I really do think that.
Yeah, it's not good looking inside. But as you said there, Hull lost. They did lose to Blackpool. Lincoln lost to Shrewsbury. Portsmouth drew to Fleetwood. So this league is absolutely bonkers. But I have to sort of say we need to move into a little bit of the appeal we scored, and what a moment for Bennett's getting his first goal for Ipswich Town, finally breaking that duck. It's been a long time. 14 appearances, a mix of substitutions and appearances. We've sort of seen flashes of him. I think Lambert doesn't like the way he plays. I'm a little bit convinced by that. Sort of seeing that he wants to sort of cut inside and score where Lambert needs him to cross. And he doesn't want to cross because there's nobody in there to cross to. But he finally broke that duck, and it's so good for him because he's had a little bit of a mixed time at Ipswich Town. We've seen flashes, haven't we?
Yeah, we've seen flashes of what he can do, and for me, he's the only really person that wants to get forward. From what I've seen, you know, he gets the ball in midfield and actually runs at the defence. He's got tidy footwork, and he looks like he could be a good player. But so far this season, until Tuesday, his final ball, his pass or shot or cross has been really poor. So he's got good footwork, but his final product isn't great. But it's great for him to finally score that goal, and it was a great finish. And I'm really happy for him to break his duck. And I think he could be a really good player. He's just not. He's not really showing his full potential at the moment. I think if he actually gets a proper run of games, he could be a really good player. But I don't think he'll really, push on from where he is at this club, because we're a club that are going downhill at the moment. I'm quite surprised we got him on loan, because he's from Borussia Mönchengladbach, isn't he? And he was once called the next Gareth Bale at Tottenham. So I'm not sure he's living up to that potential. But yeah, I'm massively pleased for him to get that first goal. And it's just so unfortunate that he does that and goes off injured. And it's going to be annoying. It's going to be interesting to see how long that injury is for. Hopefully it's not long. But knowing us, he's going to be out until March. And I really hope he gets back in the squad, because from what I've seen so far, he's probably had an effect on the squad the most out of the players we've had at the moment.
Yeah, let's hope that injury isn't too long. Hopefully he'll be back soon, because Ipswich have got this busy Christmas period, January period. We know what it's like. Games just come thick and fast, and they need their best players back as soon as they can. But sort of moving in a little bit more performance. Once Burton equalised against Ipswich Town, they really struggled to pick that lock of the Burton defence, but they got through in the end, which led fans on social media to say, papering over those cracks once again, like we just sort of said earlier. Some fans even joked that where are the haters now? Because all the Paul Lambert haters just went quiet because it's just won. But I think for the players, this must be a big boost to them. A few defeats at home and on the road as well, getting that victory in front of the fans, getting back to winning ways. This is a big boost to them, because they need it. Because I think not all of it is their fault. I think if we look at fans sort of saying not all the faults they have at the moment is the players.
No, it's not all the players' fault. they're being asked to play a system that doesn't suit them. So I think some of the performances players are putting in aren't good enough, but it's not only their fault. I think the win is definitely a boost for them. As I said before, the fans don't see it that way, but inside the club, I think the players, that will be a boost for them. It's just annoying, the thing that we've got Peterborough on Saturday, because I think if we had a side down the bottom, we really could have built on this performance, but on this win, sorry, not performance, because it was awful. But I think, especially for players like Hughes, who hasn't had a very good time, I think that goal will help his confidence a bit. I think the winning in general will lift their spirits a little bit, but it just worries me because I know we're going to lose on Saturday, and then it will just be down in the dumps again. And I think the fans see that it's so predictable at the moment that you can't really help to be negative. I tried to be positive as much as I can, and we won the game, but I'm just not feeling it at the moment. And I know the players, they go by game basis. I guess they've looked at that and said we've won the game, we've pushed through it, and I hope that brings confidence into the squad. But I don't think we're going to win on Saturday, so I think that confidence will just be drained out again by how we perform on Saturday, especially. Johnson Clark Harris is on fire at the moment. It's away to Peterborough. It's going to be a tough game. If we can actually put in a performance there and get maybe even a point, I think then we can talk about how the players' confidence is rising and we have a massive boost. But I think I said last week, this game didn't really mean anything for me. It was a win, but it depends what we do on Saturday. It really does.
Yeah, well, before we move on to Saturday's game, which you keep highlighting there, I think we can say a big moment, another big moment in the season. But Lambert said after the game, his side got their reward of 3 points, praising Emmy Hughes' goal. But he said to be 2 points off the top of the table with these guys at this moment is incredible. It's an important victory. But yet again, I go back to injuries. We've got a team out, 10 lads out injured, but we need all of them back quick as we can. These guys are hanging in there, and that's what they've got to do at the moment. But it's a little bit weird, really. He's saying he's sort of not downplaying, but he's sort of saying this squad should be. He's saying that's incredible, but we're saying that Ipswich should be walking away with this league. So it's his expectations a little bit different here. I know he's got many injuries and that, but does this side deserve a little bit of credit for they're playing in, week out? They've got lots of injuries, and they are being asked to constantly play 90 minutes and not many days of rest. Go again, sort of football here, but it's a bit weird here.
It is, and I think what the manager sees is much different to what the fans see. I think the squad as it is now, I don't think it's. I've said it before. I don't think it's good enough with the injuries that we have. I don't think the players we've got fit at the moment are good enough to be top two. On paper, we've got good players. But I think without these injuries, with players like Downs, Norwood, players like that are injured at the moment, Bishop, Edwards as well. I think our squad is good enough to be fighting for that top, for the top at the top of the league. I know we're fifth and we're supposedly fighting for promotion, but I don't like to blame injuries because I hate to speak about Norwich, but they're a good example. They have about 14 injuries at the moment, and they're top of the league. I think 7 points clear of second now. So I think injuries do have an effect on the squad, and they have an effect on the way you play. But you can still, with the squad we have, we can still put in performances. We've still got quality in it, but we're just not putting in good performances every single week. As you said, maybe we can give credit to the squad a little bit because they've got to play a lot of games in a short period of time. But there's senior players that are not the way they used to be. I don't think. Luke Chambers, for example, he's he's kind of the one that usually has a loud voice and is putting his point across to the players. But he's just doing nothing at the moment. You can't hear him when you're watching the game. He's not really, bringing the squad together as much as he used to. And I think players like that know that we're not performing very well and know the situation that we're in. And the morale is not as high as Lambert makes it out to be, I don't think. And we've had a problem with it, with Lambert lying and making stuff up before. And I think he just does it every week. I think any manager in that game on Tuesday would say, it's good that we won, but I'm not happy with the way we performed. But he sees it differently. He does. He sees it completely differently. And I think that's the problem. The fans are seeing something different than the club is seeing.
Yes, it is a bit. But remember, the cavalry is coming back, as he did say. All these injuries and all these players are coming back soon. So don't worry, the cavalry's coming back down. So
well, yeah, and I hope that's soon. But I'm as you can probably tell, I am not happy with the way the squad is at the moment. I'm not happy with the way we're performing.
No, I could tell, not at all. Well, this Saturday, Ipswich are away to another promotion rival in Peterborough, who currently sit third in the league after 10 wins, 2 draws and 6 losses in the league so far. But they've had a mixed bag of results quite recently. 2 wins from the last 7 games, including losses to Blackpool, Crewe Alexander and Wimbledon. Drawn last time to MK Dons 1-1 on Tuesday, last time the two sides met. Ipswich were hammered by 4 goals, 2-1, as Peterborough destroyed them at Potten Road. That's kind of a significant game, really, in Lambert's sort of tenure, because I think that's when everything turned on Paul Lambert a little bit, and I think the promotion sort of challenge was over. But
yes,
will Ipswich build on this last win and continue Peterborough's miserable run, or will Peterborough strike back and just get that win again?
It's going to be hard, isn't it? It's going to be a tough game. They've got some fantastic players, and it's just going to be predictable. I think just predictable Ipswich. Peterborough, they haven't been on a great run recently, actually, have they? They've lost a few games, but it's just the fact that they're a team in the top 6. It just worries me because, as we all know, that's the problem that we have. So I don't think we're going to get anything from it. I'm not confident that Lambert knows what game plan he's doing. He's going to start a 4-3-3 with no goal threat against Peterborough. So I'm going to go for 2-0 to Peterborough in the end. And then everyone will hate Lambert again.
You're predicting an Ipswich loss? Gosh, I thought I'd never see this.
Do you think Ipswich are going to win on Saturday?
Maybe not win. I think the last time these two sides met at Peterborough was a 2-2, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to go for a draw. Because Peterborough ain't doing well themselves, and they're still in this fight. So
I'll take a draw.
Yeah, a draw. Should we say a 1-1?
Well, I don't think we're going to draw, but yeah, sure.
Okay. Dan doesn't agree with me, but he's sort of like, yeah, we'll just agree. Let's agree to disagree, shall we then?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that then. Well, that's Ipswich Town section. What do you think about Ipswich Town at the moment? Let us know on Twitter at Pitchside Talk. Why not? Or even on Instagram, Talk_Pitch. Why not? And when we come back, we talk about the Premier League. We've had 2 game weeks in the space of 6 days. Oh my God, Christmas is here, isn't it?
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio's Fridays at 5 p.m. with me, George, and Dan. As always, the last show of 2020 here on IO Radio. It feels a bit weird, Dan, because it's the last show of 2020, which is like, yay, finally we're getting 2020 done, but it's the last show. Like, I feel bad.
Yeah, I know. It does feel bad, doesn't it? And I don't know. It seems like a bit early. Like, it just doesn't seem like it's nearly Christmas, does it?
No, it does not. I'm looking out my window now, and it's blue skies and it's sunny, exactly. And I think it should be August, really. But I'm wearing a jumper and jeans. It's a bit weird. But we just missed. If you just missed anything of the show, especially the Town section, go onto our YouTube mix club at Pitchside Talk. You can listen back to that. If you missed Dan having a good old rant about Ipswich Town. And we're moving on now, Dan, into the Premier League. We've had 2 game weeks in the space of 6 days. All 20 teams in action twice. And I've got a little quick roundup of the weekend results if you missed any of them. So Leeds lost 2-1 to West Ham on Friday night. Aston Villa won the West Midlands derby between Wolves 1-0. Newcastle won 2-1 against West Brom. The Manchester derby was a thrilling 0-0 draw. No, it wasn't. It was a ball fest. Everton got back to winning ways, beating Chelsea, ending their 17-game unbeaten streak for Chelsea. Southampton won 3-0 against Sheffield United. Tottenham drawed 1-1 to Crystal Palace. Fulham drawed 1-1 to Liverpool. Burnley beat Arsenal 1-0. And Leicester beat Brighton 3-0. Well, we've got some games that happened in the midweek. And we are now going to be starting on with this. We had first v second. Yes, that is right. For the first time this season, Liverpool and Tottenham met up at Anfield and it ended in a 2-1 victory for Liverpool thanks to Roberto Firmino's last-minute header, sending Liverpool to the top of the league. 3 points clear as well of second place Tottenham. But Jose wasn't happy at the end of the game. He criticised Klopp, his behaviour. He said, if I behaved like that, I would stand no chance there. And also he said, I told Klopp that the best team lost. But Dan, do you agree with Jose? Because his side had 24% possession, 3 shots on target, but they missed some golden opportunities. Bergwijn had a very good opportunity to start the second half. He put that wide. He had another opportunity off that, which he hit the post. And then Kane had a perfect opportunity from a corner. He headed it. He headed it into the ground. It bounced over the bar. And he had another opportunity, which he hit wide. But if he hadn't slipped, it was possibly going into the back of the net. But do you agree with Jose? Did the best side lose?
No, I don't agree with Jose. I think he's just a bit salty, isn't he? Having conceded that late goal. No, I don't agree with him at all. I thought Liverpool were the better side. You know, they pretty much controlled it, really, didn't they? Really, I know Tottenham had a few chances. They missed a few, but you watch the game and look at the stats and think Liverpool dominated the game. Liverpool had 718 passes to Tottenham's 156. I think that suggests who had the ball the most. I know I've said before that possession doesn't really mean anything and stuff like that, but ignore that. I think Liverpool were the better side and they deserved to win it, and they got that late goal. I just think Jose is salty about it. And that was a good win for Liverpool. It was an important one because it's the team above them and they went top of the league, and this does give them a chance to kind of push away from the rest of the pack again. And I think they will do that. An important win for Liverpool. Tottenham were unfortunate, I guess, that they missed them chances, but overall, I think they deserve to lose that game, really.
Is this sort of Jose playing mind games? He's been playing mind games all week with Klopp, especially about injuries, saying that you've got an injury crisis, but he listed all these players that are fit, and he said the only real one was Van Dijk. But if you look at it, Gomez is injured and Jota as well. And he's sort of saying that. Is he sort of looking at the long game here, if you think about it? I think he's saying his side is a pony in this title race, but I think they are a racehorse, technically. But is he just slightly playing mind games? He just wants to weave his way in there a little bit. And when they play next time, which is less than a month away now, he's going to possibly have a little bit of an advantage over Klopp.
Yeah, maybe, and we know what Mourinho's like. We know that he likes to play mind games when there's big games coming up. We've seen it loads of times before. I think you talk about how he's listing all the players and saying that Liverpool aren't in an injury crisis. Maybe he's got a point, but these injuries that Liverpool have, they're key players, aren't they? They're key players, and it's going to affect the squad in some capacity. I know they're still doing well. They're top of the league, but I think the injuries are affecting them a bit. I think Jose, he has to play the long game, really, doesn't he? Because they're probably the closest team that can challenge Liverpool to a title fight. It depends how Tottenham's results go after this, and Liverpool's as well, because I think you said before the show, Liverpool have quite a good run of games coming up. So it'll be interesting to see if Tottenham can stay with them. But I think really Jose knows that Liverpool are going to be favourites to win the league, and if they push out that gap, then they're going to be ahead of everyone else. So I think his only option is to try and play mind games, and that's what he's been trying to do. And Liverpool were better than them. in the game, and they won the game. So I just think he's annoyed at that. I really do. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a bit. I think Jose kind of he's just that kind of person, isn't he? That's his way of doing things in football, and I think that'll just carry on throughout the whole season.
Yeah, this is the first big moment of the title race. Liverpool move 3 points clear of second place, which is Tottenham, 4 points clear of third. Have Liverpool got a golden opportunity here to break away in this busy Christmas period? Because if you look at their fixtures, as you said there, from the 19th to the 4th, they play Crystal Palace away, West Brom at home, Newcastle away, Southampton away. But for Tottenham, you play the 20th to the 2nd. They play Leicester at home, Wolves away, Fulham at home, and Leeds at home. They're not easy fixtures. You know, Leicester just come off the back of that loss to Everton, are a very good side away from home. Wolves beating Chelsea, and they seem to now be finding their feet once again. Fulham are finding their feet as well. They look to be actually on a run now. And Leeds, who hit 5 against Newcastle as well, you know, they're finding the form. On their day, they can be a very good side. This could be a golden opportunity here for Liverpool. Yeah,
it can, definitely. You know, the run of games that Liverpool have, you kind of expect them to win all of them, don't you? You know, their games against mid-table and bottom of the table sides. So I think this is a big opportunity for Liverpool to push that gap a bit, and I think that's crucial. Come, you know, we're getting into the Christmas period now, and if Liverpool want to, you know, win the league, then they're going to have to pull out that gap, because we know how unpredictable this Premier League season is so far. You know, it's been a mad season, so anything could really happen. But I think that if Liverpool can win these up and coming, you know, 5 or 6 games, and Tottenham maybe drop some points here and there, I think that will keep them in good stead to win the league. And I think injuries do have an effect on Liverpool, but their squad's still good enough. You know, even with these injuries, even with, you know, the best defender in the world, let's say, out, I think they still have a very decent squad. You know, decent depth in their squad. You know, there's a a lot of youngsters coming through. Klopp's giving the youngsters a chance, which is good to see, and they're performing. So I think Liverpool are definitely good enough to pull away from the rest of the table and the rest of the top 4. And, you know, that run is the perfect way to do it.
Yes, that looks like it at the moment. Well, we had some big news on Wednesday. We had our first sacking of the season. The first Premier League casualty is down. And after 18 months in charge of West Brom decided to sack Slaven Bilic as their manager. Club, they're currently sitting 19th in the league. 1 win from 13 matches, 7 points from those 13 as well, despite drawing to Manchester City on Tuesday, which was a very good result. I think we have to say here, drawing to Manchester City 1-1. It still cost him his job, but fans have had their reaction on social media about the decision, and they're not very happy. With one fan saying, we've been pretty poor for a long time, but he has not been backed at all. Our squad is a patchwork. I cannot see how anyone would do better. And most of us would have given him more time. The sacking is ludicrous. But Dan, what are your thoughts on the sacking? Because Bilic is a loved man at West Brom, and looking into this, he hasn't been backed by West Brom at all. In the window, apparently he wanted some more experience in the squad. They basically brought back all the players they had in the Championship and some Championship players for like Carl Grant for £15 million and some other players as well. He's not been backed here at all. But apparently, if he won that game against Manchester City, he was already sacked.
Yeah, it's an odd one, isn't it? I think the transfer window that West Brom had wasn't good enough. And you're right, he wasn't backed, and he obviously had targets, as every manager does. But you know, I guess the owners, I don't know if they had the money to do that. They didn't have the money to bring in the players that he wanted, or there was some other trouble. But I think with West Brom, I think it's not the manager for me, because Slaven Bilic, he's proven that he can do well in the Premier League. He did fantastically with West Ham. You know, he got them up to the top of the table, or around the. I can't remember where they finished. Was it seventh or eighth or
it was seventh because they got Europa League in the end.
Yeah, they did. So he did really well with them. So he's proven he can be a good manager in the Premier League. He got them up in one season from the Championship, which, I guess you expect him to do, but it's not easy getting out of the Championship. So he did that in his first season. So I think, I understand why West Brom fans are annoyed at that, because, he's just drawn up Man City. On paper, the squad that he's got on his hands should not be drawing with Man City, because I don't think the squad is good enough. And I can see, I agree with West Brom fans. I think any manager that comes in is going to have a massive task. And I think Slaven Bilic should have been given more time. But obviously the ownership thought it was the right thing for him to go, which is, I don't know, I just think it's a bit of a weird sacking. And I don't think anyone else could really do better than he's been doing. I agree with some of the tweets that you've seen.
Yes, well, on Wednesday evening, just a few hours after Bilic's departure, Sam Allardyce was announced as the new manager of West Brom, signing an 18-month contract. Big Sam is finally back after, I don't know how many, oh my God, it's got to be 2 years without a job. I think Everton was his last job, if I remember correctly. A good track record with keeping clubs up in the Premier League. He's kept Blackburn up, West Ham, Sunderland, Crystal Palace and Everton up in the Premier League. All the clubs that he's managed, he's got a 30-plus win percentage. So he's done pretty well with those. But can he work his magic here? It's a bit of a tough situation. A side that's only got one win in the last 13, currently sitting 19th. I think they're only a few points away from safety, which is quite remarkable at this moment. But can he actually do it? Is he going to get that backing that he needs to do it?
I think that's the crucial thing, isn't it? He needs the backing, and I think this January transfer window is very, very important for West Brom, because I don't think their squad's good enough to stay up no matter what manager they have in. I think, they sacked Bilic. I think bringing in Sam Allardyce probably was the right appointment for them. I don't think sacking Bilic was the right decision, but I think bringing Sam Allardyce in was probably the right call. But as I said before, and as people have been saying, I don't think any manager in that position could really do much with the squad that they have. And I think whoever is in that job really needs a bit of money to spend in January to improve that squad. We've seen in the past that Allardyce could do it at multiple clubs before. And, I could be wrong, and he could have every chance of keeping them up. But they drew with Man City, for God's sake. But I still don't think that he's going to keep them up. And I imagine it's going to be another Nigel Pearson situation where he's been given time to keep them up and he hasn't, and then he's gone by the summer. And that's why I think that this January transfer window is massive for West Brom.
Yes, it looks a very crucial time for Sam Allardyce. He'll be taking charge of his first game against Aston Villa. So a nice little rivalry, I think, to start off his time as West Brom manager. But when we come back from talking about the Premier League, we're going to be talking about Arsenal, a team that's had, I think we could say, a well-documented start to the season.
Yeah.
The best place in Ipswich to hear the latest football debates, Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Hello and welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio's Fridays at 5 p.m. with me, George and Dan. And Dan, this is the last section on IO Radio. We're going to do a 2020. This last football section.
I know.
This is.
It's mad to think that.
Absolutely crazy. And we're doing a good one. We're doing Arsenal.
Yeah.
Who, well, I think we've got to start off really heading into the new campaign. Arsenal fans were excited coming back off of a good end to the last season. FA Cup winners, qualified for Europa League, Community Shield winners over the Premier League champions Liverpool, top goal scorer Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang signing a new contract. Everything seemed to have turned a corner under Mikel Arteta's management, and they had a good start to the season as well, in the top four after 5 games. But when they lost to Manchester City back in October 17th, things have gone from hero to zero pretty quickly for them. They dropped down to 15th 1 win in 9, 3 goals since October the 17th from open play. Actually, not from open play, sorry. I'm losing the plot here. From set pieces, over 13 hours and 17 minutes without a goal, which Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang ended against Southampton on Wednesday. But only he scored 3 goals this season compared to last season where he got 8 at this stage. 4 straight defeats at home, last achieved in the 61 years ago. The worst start in 46 years when they finished 17th in the English League. Yikes, Dan. How the hell has this been allowed to happen?
I know, it's mad, isn't it? And the thing is, as you said, they had such a promising end to last season, and I think that really put confidence into a lot of Arsenal fans. You know, winning the FA Cup and the Community Shield as well, getting into Europe. I think there was good signs, but they're just not performing, are they? They're on relegation form at the moment, and they're sitting in 15th, and it's just really, really poor at the moment. And I think the players at the moment in the Arsenal squad, they're not performing as they should do. I think you said before, Aubameyang, he's got 3 games, 3 goals all season, which is poor by his standards, and that was such a promising thing as well. You know, that Aubameyang stayed. I think everyone Arsenal fans especially, were massively happy about that, and it was a promising sign, but that hasn't gone to plan either. So it's all going wrong for Arsenal at the moment. They're having such a poor season, and it's going to take a lot to turn it around. I don't think they're going to, stay close to the bottom forever, but it's going to be a tough ask to turn it around. And if they're going to stick with Arteta, then I don't know how it's going to get better from here.
Well, one of the biggest problems this season has been the discipline of players. On Sunday against Burnley, Arsenal were starting to find their feet in the second half. I know it was 0-0, but they started to find their feet, controlling the game. And then Xhaka loses his head, gets sent off for violent conduct. And that changed everything because Burnley then won 1-0. And then again against Southampton on Wednesday, they were 1-1. They just got back into the game. They were on the front foot. Gabriel gets a double booking and gets sent off as well. And it's not the first time it's happened this season. Nicolas Pepe's already been sent off already this season. But have Arsenal got a disciplinary problem? Because they've had 7 red cards in 33 games under Mikel Arteta. So is there a problem there? And is there a problem with the players not seemingly wanting to fight? I think they have been criticised a lot that nobody really is fit enough to wear the shirt. They're not fighting whether they go 10 men down or even 11. And there's a problem with Arsenal. It's leadership. They've had this problem for years, and they still have not solved it.
No, look, voice crack. I have to edit that out. No, they haven't. And as you said, they've got a pretty big disciplinary problem at the moment. Yeah, I don't think there hasn't been a leader for a long time, and I think that's a big problem with the Arsenal squad. They haven't got a leader in that squad, and I think experienced leaders are important, and I think that's just what they need. They've been performing so bad for a long time now, and something needs to change. And do you say Aubameyang was captain for the game?
Yes, he is the Arsenal captain, but a lot of fans say realistically the captain is David Luiz, and he wasn't playing in most of these games.
Again, the captain is David Luiz, and he's not performing either, is he? He's not performing as he should be. He's been injured, but before that, has he really been performing to his best? No, I don't think he has. And I think Arsenal is an example where they're performing badly, and you can't just blame the manager for it, because they've been the players are being criticised for the passion they're putting in, and I think as a manager, that's what you need. That's all you're asked for. You want your team to perform, but you want them to put the effort in, and passion is a big thing in football. And if your players aren't putting the effort in and they're not enjoying the football, then there's a problem there. And I think that's what it is with Arsenal at the moment. The players aren't enjoying it, and they're not putting in the effort as they should do. But yeah, there's a lot of squad problems at Arsenal at the moment.
Yeah. Do you feel sorry for Mick Arteta, an inexperienced manager, his first job in management at a big club, and he's gone to a club that hasn't been successful for years? I know they've won FA Cups, but for a big club standard, that is not success. They've been in decline for years. They failed to qualify for Champions League now for a few years, not challenging for a Premier League for years now. And he's getting the vote of confidence from the technical director and the board of Arsenal's technical director, Eddie Hussein. He's doing a great job, and the club has a big and beautiful future under Arteta. But he said yesterday, it's quite clear now that we need a player in the middle who is creative, and we don't have that right now in the squad. And that player is Mesut Ozil. But do you feel sorry for Arteta, really, of what's going on at the moment with this club?
I do, a little bit, yeah. I think, he's been thrown in the deep end a little bit. I know he did well to the end of last season, but I still think him appointing Arteta, he was put into the deep end. He hasn't really had any managerial experience. I know he worked under Pep, which I guess you could say is good experience, but he hasn't been, the first team coach or manager at a club before. And to be put in this Arsenal squad that is kind of in decline at the moment, they're wanting to be back to where they were, up in the top four, but it's just not happening. And bringing in such an inexperienced manager, it's going to be a tough ask for him, and it's proven to be. But then you can flip the coin and say, football's a results business, and in the end, it comes down to the manager, doesn't it? And the way he's putting teams out, and they're not getting points at the moment. So I do feel sorry for him, but I think in the end, if these performances and results keep coming, then I don't think Arteta's he's going to be sacked, isn't he? Because that's what happens. That's what happens to clubs. So I do feel sorry for him, and I think that he's got a massive job to do. But again, it's another club where I think that any manager that comes in has got a massive job. And if they do get rid of Arteta, then who's going to come in? There's not really anyone available at the moment. So as I've said before, they'll stick with him. I think if they can't keep on with this run of form by the end of the season, maybe they'll look for other options. But I think he's got the rest of this season, but it's going to be tough for him.
So in quick summary, really, he's not going to get sacked then, I guess. That's.
I don't think he is, no.
No. But if I just thinking just quickly here, if he did, who would come in and get that job? I know Potts was rumoured at one point, but would he really want that job, managing a North London rival?
I don't know. I think a manager like that. No, I don't think he'd want to go to Arsenal, a club that's where it is at the moment. He didn't really have a very enjoyable time at the end of his Tottenham reign, did he really? So coming into a club that's already down the bottom of the league is going to be tough for him. Who would come in? That's a really good question, because who's available at the moment to come in? Really, I think Eddie Howe's been kind of mentioned a little bit, but is that a bit too much for him? He's been at Bournemouth, and coming to Arsenal, such a big club like that, maybe that's a bit too much for him. But I don't know who else is available, really. There's not a lot of managers to choose from, and then I think that's a big reason why they'll stick with Arteta. I don't think, is there really another plan? Have the owners really got a plan B if they do sack him? I don't think we've really seen anything to suggest that. So yeah, I think they'll stick with Arteta, and if he does go, then it's going to be really interesting to see who replaces him.
Yes, it will have to wait and see. Hopefully, be some nice times up ahead for Arsenal heading into this Christmas period. But I think they've got a tough run of fixtures coming up. But when we come back, we're going to be doing a quick football roundup just before the referee blows whistle for full time.
Pitchside Talk, footy debate from the Premier League Outback.
Hello and welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio Fridays at 5 p.m. with me, George, and Dan, as always. And well, Dan, do you know what time it is?
Is it football roundup time?
It is. It's the last one of 2020. And I've got something quite interesting here. Rangers not last night at all. Wednesday evening, I'm losing the plot here, lost against St Mirren, ending their 27-game unbeaten start to the season. 27 games? What?
Madness.
Absolutely madness. They lost, I think, Conor McCarthy scored in the 92nd minute to end Rangers' unbeaten start to the season, which is absolutely mad. And well done. I forgot to mention at the start of the show, but we've actually got a special announcement, haven't we, to make?
Yes, we have.
So unfortunately, this is the last show for IO Radio, but on the 23rd of December, we've got a special Christmas show, which is going to be going out on YouTube and Mixcloud, an exclusive show, keeping you all up to date, everything going on in the world of football. And also, we've got a special show on the 30th of December, just all about Ipswich Town, because Ipswich Town have got, I think we can say, a busy winter period, and we want to keep talking about them, don't we? Well, I want you to talk about them down. That's what I want.
It makes good content, doesn't it?
Yeah. I want you to give us your Christmas thoughts on Ipswich Town over Christmas time, which I don't think would be too great. But
no.
That's everything for today's show. So what we've got coming up after us, we've got the Gap Year show 6 until 7, the Rebirth show 7 till 9, Flip the Switch 9 until 10. And if you want to follow us on any of our social medias, it's pretty simple. Twitter @PitchsideTalk, Instagram talk_pitch, YouTube and Mixcloud @PitchsideTalk. Well, Dan, I will see you for the Christmas special. But I know it's going to sound weird here. I've got to say, have a Merry Christmas and a happy one. And, what am I going to say? Stay safe. Have a short, safe Christmas is now the new motto. So we're going to start bragging that a little bit. Well, I've been George. He's been Dan as always. We'll see you next week. Ciao.
Bye.
The whistle has been blown for full time. Tune in next week for another jam-packed show.